Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the after party, 1876. I'm the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. He is that man, Andre Davis. What's going on, Brother Davis? How you doing tonight, man?
Man, anytime I'm able to do this with you, it's always a blessing and an honor, man. So I'm great.
You're great. Well,
yes,
know, PV looked pretty great tonight, man, taking on Incarnate Word. Before we get into that, we, of course, were victorious by the score of 42-28. Tonight is a good night, Dre. You know why, Dre? Ask me why, Dre.
Mike.
Yes. Yes.
All right, there you go. You keep going out.
Okay, I don't know why. But ask me why is tonight a good night, Dre?
I think I know the answer to this.
What do you think the answer is, Dre?
It's something about the black and gold, the horrible color combination. Something about black and gold. Maybe I'm wrong, though. You help me out.
You know what? You're wrong for being a hater, but you're right for what's going on. All I can say is 8-2, baby, 8-2. We got that out the way. We got that out the way. Prairie View goes to San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
And take their business with Incarnate. Another scary second quarter. I cannot, for the life of me, figure out what the problem is with these second quarters.
I said it. I don't know what it is. And I was going to ask you, because I know you watched it from start to finish, when I first tuned in to watch it, Mike, and I saw it, okay, you know, like they were 14, 21-0, 14-0, something like that. You know, I said, okay, they got it. And then, you know, I went on and did my show. Next thing you know, I tune in, the score is 28-28 at the end of the third quarter. I'm like, well, hold on now. Let me ask Mike and see, what happened. So what happened from the end of the first quarter to the end of the third quarter, Mike?
Well, you had another fumble. Floyd had a fumble on a kickoff return, I want to say, or it might have been a handoff. I'm not real sure. But it was a turnover that set up Incarnate Word to get a drive to come in, and that cut it down. But then the third quarter was a bit of a flop for the Panthers as they come out. Incarnate Word gets a couple of touchdowns. Actually, they win the third quarter. Prairie View won the second quarter, but they had a collapse in that second quarter. They had a couple of big plays that happened. One receiver left wide open. Got the touchdown, catch and pass or catch and run after the pass, and they got the strike. And then it got, you know, when you make you raise up a little bit in your seat when it got, you know, to that third quarter, all tied at 28, and you're going like, man, what in the world, what in the dickens is going on around here? And then another big run by Floyd, not Floyd, but Tucker, I'm sorry. Tucker with a 72-yard touchdown run, and that kind of bridged that gap a little bit. And the Panthers didn't look back. All I can say is this, man. Nico Hollins has truly earned his wings. He has truly earned his wings. Man, efficient tonight. Although he threw a couple of interceptions, threw for 353 yards. What a slacker. You go from 410 yards last week to 353. Man, you're talking about taking off a night. And those who understand, I'm being very sarcastic right now. But the guy really is proven to be the right now and the future for the Panthers at the QB position.
Well, Nico is poised in the pocket, Mike, and the one thing that Coach Simmons has spoke about in terms of Nico Hollins this season, when the times that he had to put him in, was just even in the recruiting process when they brought Nico into Prairie View. Now, he is a gunslinger. You know, he doesn't mind, as I like to call it, chunking it downfield.
Oh man, that just kills me, man. That kills me. Go ahead, man. Chunking.
Yeah, you don't mind. You don't mind throwing it downfield. You know, at any given moment. Now, in terms of his accuracy, I feel like something like that will certainly, in efficiency, I feel like something like that will certainly improve. If he has nothing but time to improve, if they of course allow him to develop into that quarterback that they want him to be in. We've already seen some of it this season moving forward. But at the end of the day, this guy's poise, Mike, in the pocket is unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Now, I know that, he's going to be losing majority of his receiving corps, that being Kadell Hodge, Derek Floor, and Joshua Simmons. But if they can honestly really give him some guys to throw to. Now, I believe Marcus Hardy, I believe he's still coming back, if I'm not mistaken. But if they can surround Hollins next season with some guys to throw to, if in fact he does develop with his accuracy downfield, because he doesn't mind throwing it downfield, and he certainly has the arm to do so. If he develops that accuracy, man, I see this kid really making some noise for the future.
Absolutely. You got some weaponry. One thing, the Panthers are extremely deep at the receiver. We do know about Josh. We know about Cadell. But there's a kid who's been having hamstring problems, and he can outrun all of them. He actually runs track for Coach Clay and the Panthers, and that's Quentin Bell. And once he gets that old hammy together, that's another long thread in the mix waiting. This is still really, it's the setup now that we can really, really look for. At least from my perspective, you can put some hype back into this Texas Southern game, because now they stand between us from having a winning season or a losing season. So at least for me, there's some energy back into this game, regardless of who shows up, who doesn't show up. I know people are in conflict talking about the Bayou Classic, this, that, and the other, and all that's fine, but we're going to have a Bayou Classics on the north side. How about that?
We will, Mike. We will. And, and you talked about the energy, and last week in their 35-12 win against APB, you talked about that will factor and that determination factor. And I said maybe that win against APB, maybe that'll carry over this week in terms of that determination factor. Now, I know you mentioned that it should not take a win here or a win there to kind of get you motivated into playing football. You should already be motivated, win, lose, or draw every week for 10 to 12 weeks. But my question to you is, you watched the game from start to finish. Now, from what I observed in the first quarter when I first tuned in, I saw that determination factor. I saw the fact that they went out there and played with the mentality that, hey, not only these guys are coming in 1-9, but they honestly they shouldn't even be out there on the field with you guys talent-wise. And I saw that in the first quarter. But moving forward, did you see that throughout the game? Because I know that's one of the things that you pointed out last week when they played APB.
My two key words, Andre, were pride and purpose. And I saw that tonight. I saw pride. I saw purpose. You had a couple of factors working on tonight. Let's be honest. Prairie View's 1-3 1-2 against the Southland Conference on this season, and that's okay. And the way people say, well, why are you challenging playing the Southland Conference? Let's go back and look at who you had originally on paper schedule. You had Sam Houston, Nicholls State, and Incarnate Word. Now, what you got to understand, that was a measuring schedule from the Southland. That was a measuring schedule. We know Sam has always been the cream of the crop of the Southland. Nicholls had been your mid-range, and Incarnate Word were your bottom feeders, okay? So you gauge yourself. You got what you expected with Sam Houston. You kind of figured that. You said, okay, we knew that they were always a nationally ranked program. Okay, we hung in there with them. You were not expecting to get blown off the field with Nicholls State. No one was expecting Nicholls State to do what they've done this year, even though they lost tonight 21-17 to Northeastern Louisiana, which probably messed them up as far as an FCS playoff, but that's to be determined. McNeese is also on the outside looking in. But you knew coming in with Incarnate Word that for a true measure of dignity, pride, and purpose, we're supposed to handle an Incarnate Word, and they showed that on tonight.
Yeah, I felt like they were at least trying to. They were at least looking to go 2-1 in the Southland Conference. Like you say, we mentioned Sam Houston. One of the top 5 ranked teams in the FCS at the time. We knew, going into that game, what was expected that you mentioned, and honestly, they actually competed against them very well. To say that that's who they were playing against. And exactly. And when it comes to Nicholls, I mean, this is a team that, that was playing under 500 football last year. I believe they was, 5-7, 5-6 last year.
Right.
This is it's really one a really good football team last year. And then come this year, it's just like a flip side. They played games that, was like, where this team come from? They was beating teams that were honestly getting blown out by last year, and we were certainly going to put up more than 13 points against Nicholls State this year. And then jumping down to Incarnate Word, that was another game, like you said, should be an easy win in terms of Southland Conference. So, overall, it was honestly a good measuring stick. I felt that we competed well against Sam Houston. Now, didn't really get a chance to look at Nicholls State, but just in terms of the numbers that we received back from the end of that game, that overall didn't seem like a good game for Prairie View.
No, well, you know what? Yeah. When you have a long, rigorous schedule, and for all those who question, why you do what you do, a pretty tough schedule, non-conference schedule for Prairie View. And when you have a rigorous schedule like that, you never really know what you're going to get. But every now and then you can chalk up, you're just going to have a flat week. And that was a flat week for Prairie View when they played Nicholls State. Now, when you talk about Grambling, you talk about Southern, you talk about Alcorn. In those games, I'm going to honestly say that they were outplayed. Those games, I mean, maybe even to some degree outcoached in some certain circumstances where you may be overthought one way or went another way, because I'm still wondering in that, even if your main guy is not available, McCray, you still got a Broach in there, and on 3rd or 4th and 1, I would rather give it to Broach than to give it to Tucker on an inside run. That's just me. But needless to say, that's the up and down roller coaster ride of a football season. You're going to have that. That's part of it. For those who just joining in, you're listening to the after party, the 1876 post-game report. Prairie View A&M University Panthers go to San Antonio to take care of University of Incarnate Word. I don't know what I was thinking about. I almost said universe, but university, they all come from one another. 42-28 was the final score. Nico Hollins, 353 passing yards on the night, another 4-touchdown performance, 2 interceptions, but I can live with that when I get the win. Another strong running Tucker, over 100 yards, but the big break was a 72-yard touchdown run. McCray with 65 rushing yards, and another big night by Cadell Hodge. Cadell Hodge has caught 12 touchdowns in 6 games.
Yes, sir. This guy's on fire.
That's beast mode.
That's beast mode, and it was a stellar performance today by Darius Floyd as well.
Yes.
We definitely can't leave him out of the equation as well. This is the type of performance that we've expected from these guys, this entire wide receiver core, that being Floyd, Hodge, and Simmons, that we honestly would have liked to expect it at the beginning of the season. We just really couldn't get the ball to him, in my opinion.
Couldn't get the ball to him, which goes back to that early struggles of the front line. A lot of people are not really understanding. If your front line is in shams, the whole offense is in a drag. It's you can't get it off the ground because you're struggling, man. You are absolutely struggling. But they're seeming to get better, and it's always just as you're turning a corner, it seems like you're running out of weeks as far as your football season is concerned, and you just all you can do is finish strong, finish the games you have left in front of you. So right now, Texas Southern is in the way of the Panthers having their 3rd consecutive season of winning, which will be the first time since under the Henry Frazier era when the Panthers have had 3 consecutive winning seasons.
Well, now you mentioned this game right here, Mike, against Incarnate Word, pretty much being the Super Bowl for Prairie View leading into.
No. If you're gonna quote me right. I said this was the AFC or NFC championship game. And Texas Southern would be your Super Bowl.
Texas Southern would be the Super Bowl.
Right. Okay. I told Coach Simmons this week during our weekly talk show, I said, well, let's look at this Incarnate Word as the SWAC championship, and then Texas Southern as the Celebration Bowl. You know, and he kind of looked at me. I said, well, I wanted to do it because it was a college show, but I originally said AFC, NFC, championship, and then your Super Bowl. So the table is set right now. The touchdown gathering, which is going to be on Tuesday, noon at the Power Center in Houston. It's going to be another worthy trip, if you will, for the smack talking and this, that, and everything else is going to be involved because of the fact that Prairie View is playing to have a winning record. And we can shut them down all week by just talking about win some games. Playing some games of relevancy.
Yeah, we could. We could. But at the same time, we could come across a team, that being TSU, Mike, who is, like you say, looking at the fact that we're trying to end on a winning note, and they know that we're trying to end on a winning note. So therefore, they're going to try to do everything in their power to make sure that we don't win on the ending note.
Even though that's what makes the hype about the game back, Dre. Yeah. If Prairie View loses this game, this is a who cares bowl.
Yes, I agree.
This is a who cares, because you're going up against Grambling and Southern, which has been historically the grand finale for the Southwestern Athletic Conference in the Bayou Bowl, or the Bayou Classic, I should say. And that's a great game. That is a great game. I don't care about the fact that that game is going to be going on. Prairie View is going to be playing Texas Southern. And for those who care, for those who matter, they are going to be there. I think there's going to be a strong show-up. Might not be what everybody would anticipate for a Labor Day Classic, but you had 4,000, at least they say, show up tonight in San Antonio, which I strongly doubt. You saw that game right there.
For the time that I tuned in, yeah.
For 4,000 people. But, you know, I'm not going to get into the numbers game because all of them play the numbers game. You know, we've been seeing that. But I can honestly and comfortably say that I'm going to see 12 to 16,000 people this coming Saturday. Well, not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday, November 25th, at the BBVA Stadium. I honestly feel that. I honestly believe that. Why? Because number one is Prairie View. Number two is Texas Southern. And the word on the street, Dre, I'm not real sure if you've heard about this, the Marching Storm won't even be there.
They're going to be in New York.
They'll be back that Friday, but
they will be back that Friday.
They'll be back that Friday, but from my gathering, they said, we's tired, boss. We ain't going to make it. So that's going to be an interesting mix, but I think there's still going to be enough lure to draw people out to that game.
I agree. You know, the number, the title within itself, I personally feel like it's enough to kind of draw people in. In terms of the numbers of the 4,000, Mike, I think they would count the cheerleaders, the players, and the coaches.
Man, they had to count the subdivision that the doggone university was in.
They counted the people working at the concession stand. They counted everybody.
They counted the bands. They counted the cheerleaders. They counted the water boy. They say, "Hey, H2O boy, stand over here so we can count you."
They counted the police officer working the traffic in the parking lot.
You mean the one that played Joe the mailman and That's My Mama?
Oh yeah. Yeah. If you were in the area, you got counted.
You were in the zip code.
In the zip. You lived in the zip code.
Oh, man, you're listening to the After Party with Dr. Mike Prince and that man, Dre. Dre, tell them what's your Twitter handle, my man.
They can reach me at that_man_Dre.
That_man_Dre.
Yes, sir.
And I'm simply a radio guy. I don't know where he gets all that stuff from. But if you like to follow me also on Instagram, it is Radio Guy 22. The website is obn-radio.com. And don't forget that we have a Facebook page, and it's OPEN_MIC, which is Open Mic Broadcast Network. Same for our YouTube channel, Open Mic Broadcast Network. Prairie View victorious by the score of 42-28. We had scheduled Coach Shotgun Willie Simmons. Don't know if he'll be able to join us on tonight, but we will get a chance to talk to him very, very soon. Panthers improved their record overall to 5-5 on the conference play. They're 3-3 in SWAC play, which means they could finish 4-3, which is a game over 500. It's considered a winning season. If I'm an FBS with 6 wins, I would at least be at discussions for a bowl invitation.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, anyway, I'd rather be one up than one down.
As always, I just hope that they don't feel like, they even though they have the opportunity to get the win and finish on the winning note, as long as they come into this week of practice from Monday all the way through Friday, or however it works out, as long as they come into practice with the mentality that it's not going to come easy, that TSU is not just going to lay down and give it to them just because they're coming in 1-8 and y'all coming in 5-5.
So hold on. Time out. Hit the pause button.
Yes, sir.
What's their record again?
1-8.
Say that one more time.
1-8.
1-8. Okay.
But you know what? Even taking that and understanding all that, both of these teams, especially Prairie View, need to come in as if both of them are 0-0, because that's how both of these teams are going to play, Mike.
Oh, I understand that.
If they're 1-8, they're not about to play like they 1-8.
Well, really and truly, you could literally, and I do mean this, you could throw both of the records completely out the window, going 80 miles an hour on 290 east or west. You can throw that out, because this game is going to be emotional. It's going to be hyped up. It's going to be everything that you can imagine it to be. And I love that about it, man. I really, really love that. And I'm excited about it, Dre. I'm truly, truly excited about it. The Panthers win big tonight in San Antonio. Some people, naysayers, like, well, they ain't do nothing but beat nobody but Incarnate Word. I don't care. It could have been in Incarnate Word, old folks' home. They were on the schedule. You played them, and you beat them. Mm-hmm. And that's all that really matters. So now the Panthers are coming back feeling good about themselves. It's a short trip, but it comes even shorter off a win like that. They headed out yesterday at 12 noon, got down there, got a little R&R in with some walkthroughs, and came out with the win. Now, a couple of things that I noticed on tonight's game, Trey, and I noticed through the television broadcast and even through the radio broadcast with Brother Dwayne Lewis for Panthers Sports Network. Those uniforms were hideous. Those uniforms were absolutely hideous. They had a gray with red numbering and a deep, dark red, almost like a maroon. And it probably looks cute in real life down there on the field. But from a broadcaster's perspective, that is a nightmare. That is an absolute nightmare. On a couple of occasions, you would hear both broadcast teams saying, man, it's kind of hard to make out who that is right now. But we're going to take a guess at it. And I know what the theory is and the concept behind it, but to me, that is in that gray area of cheating. Anytime you're trying to despair or disguise who's doing what with these old funky combination of uniforms is hideous, and to me, there is no room in the game for that kind of shenanigans.
Well, as far as that's concerned, Mike, and that's an interesting point that you brought up. I never even cheating. Wow, I never even thought of it that way.
That's why I have gray. That's why I have gray hair, Drake, because you don't think that long and hard. You just, I think it's nice. I think it's cute. I think it's fly.
Well, and I know I said that off the phone before we got on and started doing the show, but as I got off the phone, I started thinking before you mentioned it, I said, well, you know what? When I wasn't doing the broadcast, again, I definitely would think that those are some nice jerseys. I actually like the design of it, and I like the color scheme as well. But now that I have become a broadcaster and I actually have to recognize who the player is, call their jersey number, I look at it through a different lens now. And I was going to say that. And you know what? From a broadcaster's perspective, I would have been infuriated to call that game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because you know what it been? Incarnate Word receiver, Incarnate Word running back, Incarnate Word quarterback. You know what it been?
It would have been the name I gave them. Your name may be Saquon, but you Corey tonight.
Yeah, who Corey? We don't even have a Corey. Well, get a better uniform where we can make out who it is. That's where he's going to be who I say he is tonight.
You got Corey tonight.
Panthers victorious 42-28 to improve their overall record 5-5, 3-3 in conference play. Texas Southern down the road in 9 days. They'll be taking on Texas Southern, and it is going to be something worth watching. Here's another thing I noticed on tonight, Dre. The band for Incarnate Word was playing on third downs when Prairie View had the ball, and the officials never said anything.
I was about to say, isn't it not allowed?
Well, it makes you wonder. But see, I don't have a problem with that. Let me tell you why I don't have a problem with it. It's called home field advantage.
Mm-hmm.
It's called home field advantage. Whether you got the band playing or the crowd making a bunch of crazy noise, or you going to tell the crowd, please stop cheering?
Nope.
Okay, then. You've already enforced the deal that if your halftime shows are going to be reduced by 5 minutes, so therefore you get in and get out, no extra or whatever. So if the band is going to be there, what is the band there for? To engage the crowd.
To play during halftime and to play when your team scores.
To play when your team scores, and also to help create a home field advantage.
Well, I get that, Mike. I understand.
No, you don't. No, you don't, because you want to argue.
But I don't want to argue. All I'm saying is at the end of the night, you still have to be fair.
Being fair, Trey, we're talking about home field advantage. We're talking about football.
I get that. You have to be fair, though, knowing that if it's not a rule. If it's not a rule, then don't make it a rule. But don't pick and choose when you want to actually enforce the rule. You got to be fair. If you're going to be fair, if it's a rule, then enforce the rule. If they're not supposed to play while the other team has the ball, whether it's first, second, or third down, they shouldn't be playing. No, sir.
I don't have a problem with it because once again, if you watch any major, mid-major professional, those people go crazy when the opposing team has a third and whatever. As a matter of fact, start listening to some of these NFL games. They'll say, it's third down. Everybody starts going crazy.
I've heard it. It's much easier to tell the band to shut up than it is to tell over 15, 20, 30,000 fans to shut up, though.
Man, please. Man, please.
That's not going to happen.
Well, see, maybe, just maybe, we need to start re-cueing folks and doing, some little, when we say it's third down, when they get the freshmen in and train them, maybe they can start going berserk and doing everything that they got to do, and let the band just hit like a boom, 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 something like that. Man, you can do something. You can be creative. You can be creative. But on the other note, that band sound like a little symphony choir, too.
Obviously it wasn't too good of a factor. He lost 42-28.
Well, but that's my point exactly. That's not going to hinder whether you win or lose, but it can give you a little bit of home field advantage. Say you are an underdog and you're playing somebody, or you're in a critical game. Just like when a guy goes to kick the ball, when a guy goes to kick the ball for a field goal, all right, what's wrong with the horn section going, something while he getting ready to kick? What's wrong with that? I think that's ingenious.
Adds more excitement to the game.
It adds another tier to the game. Think about that, Dre. I'm not talking about getting like a laser and shave it in his eye or anything, but just like, what's the difference when you're at a basketball game and the student section, which are behind the goal, making all kind of noises, trying to break the guy's concentration? That's sportsmanlike. They don't stop that.
You can't shut the crowd up.
You can't shut a band up.
Oh, yes, you can.
Well, I guess you got a point there, though, but it sucks, Dre. It sucks.
Hey, please refrain from playing. Done. you gonna tell this 10,000 fans who paid their hard-earned money to get in this game that they can't cheer?
Well, you gonna tell that band who put in all those effortless and strenuous hours?
You get your time to shine at halftime. That's why we incorporated halftime.
No, you incorporated halftime so the teams can go and regroup and re-strategize. The bands are there to bridge that gap so people don't just walk away and leave. But when a band is there, a band is part of the home enhancement. It's part of the home field advantage. It's part of the tradition that makes up your program.
You cheer. You play your music when your team scores.
Man. Anyway.
I don't need you playing while I'm on offense.
Anyhow, you're listening to the after party, the 1876 post-game report. That man, Dre, even though he's hitting on my good last nerve tonight, and the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Panthers win by the score of 42-28. They will take on the Texas Southern Tigers next week. But, Dre, I got something else I want to bring to light for those who may be aware, who may not be aware. I'm still scratching my head, and maybe you can help an old man out, Dre. But the Hampton Pirates have announced earlier today that they will be leaving the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, or the MEAC, and heading to the Big South.
Well, when I saw that news today, I thought, I don't know if I had the crust in my eyes or whatever. I ain't been getting enough sleep lately. So I had to, rub my eyes a little bit and make sure that I'm not seeing what I saw. But it is, in fact, what I saw. And they're moving on, Mike. They're moving on. I know you have the show with the coach. No. That's Howard.
That's Mike London. That's Mike London. Yeah, that's Mike London. They're staying put. But Hampton.
Oh, this is Hampton.
Hampton, right. Hampton is just as much as a fixture as Howard. Man, they're synonymous with the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. And they're going to the Big South. Drake, can you even name me 3 teams out of the Big South?
Off the top of my head? off the top of my head? I mean,
I know you're looking it up right now. Go ahead and look it up and call them off. I know you're looking them up right now. You're Googling them or something because you're buying time. But go ahead, call them off, Dre.
Well, I don't really have. Let me get my laptop.
But you're going to the Big South. If that's not a step backward, I don't know what is. I don't know. Oh my goodness. Okay.
What would you feel like would be the reason to go there?
Honestly,
truly.
Honestly.
I mean, I've never really heard these teams before.
Honestly, Dre, the only thing that they could try to stand up on is that it will cut down on their travel expenses when it comes to athletics. That's the only thing, but it's not like you're playing the Florida schools, Bethune-Cookman or Florida A&M every week. That's the only thing that I could even logically think of. Did you find them out, Dre? Did you find out Big South?
Yeah, there's only, other than Liberty, I ain't really heard these other teams, Mike. I mean, I don't know who is Presbyterian. And then Charleston Southern, Monmouth, Kennesaw State, Gardner Webb. I don't know none of these teams.
Now, Kennesaw State has played a couple of SWAC schools. In fact, I want to say they played Valley and Texas Southern this year. I know they played a couple of SWAC schools, but needless to say,
and I see they're 9-1.
Yeah, but needless to say, though, the Big South, really? I mean, okay. Now, of course,
you got a better chance of winning. They feel like they got a better chance of winning.
See, now you probably wonder, well, what they got to do with us? There's been whispers that maybe Prairie View will swing on over to the Southland.
It makes sense.
Because of travel.
No, not make sense in terms of they should do it, but in terms of as to why they've been scheduling the Southland schools to see how well they match up against them.
Right, but what I'm saying is you can measure, you can schedule, but you shouldn't be leaving. That's just my opinion. Being an alum and a former SWAC conference ball player, I mean, the Southland does not draw as the SWAC draws. And if you want to talk about cutting down on traveling, you can do, here's a very logical yet simple solution. Football would be the only sport where all my SWAC conference schools played each other. Okay? Basketball, you let the East play the East, let the West play the West. The top two teams from the East and the top two teams from the West, they go and play in a tournament at a neutral location, and that's how you determine your SWAC champion. You can do the same for baseball. You can do the same for softball. If you really want to make it interesting, you can go to the top three teams from the East, the top three teams from the West, and you can do it like that and be done with the whole thing.
We don't want to, Mike. We want to go to Southland.
No.
We want to go to Southland and play teams like McNeese State and
well, McNeese State is not in the Southland. McNeese State is in, I want to say, the Big Sky.
Well, they scared. They look like they under the Southland and what I'm looking at.
Okay. They might be under. So I get them mixed up sometimes.
Yeah, they want to play teams like Abilene Christian, Mike, and Lamar. Why can't we play them schools?
Well, we can play them in non-conference schedules.
No, in conference.
Well, they're not going to draw.
Yeah.
They are not going to willingly come to Prairie View A&M University. They're not going to come.
We're going to have to go to them.
I mean, you would have to come and go, but when they are obligated to come to us, it's going to be like a ghost town.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be like a ghost town. You'd have to put free pound cakes in the seats just to get people to even attempt to show up.
You got a hard time getting people to show up now?
Right. So, I mean, but I don't make those decisions, but, being an alumni, I can voice my opinion. How about that?
Absolutely.
And you're soon to be an alumni. Dre is going to be graduating this December. Congratulations, man.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.
Oh, he got humble. Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet.
I gotta stay humble.
Oh, yes, sir. Stay humble because humble is the way. Panthers victorious tonight by the score of 42-28 over Incarnate Word to improve their overall record to 5-5. And Dre, it's one more game left in the season.
One more showdown, man.
One more, and then it's going to be a due to the seniors. This team fell a little short on expectations for this season, but can still finish with their third consecutive winning season under Shotgun Willie Simmons in his third year of leading the charge for the Purple and Gold. So that's a lot to play for. There's a lot to say for that, and they still got an opportunity to continue to add, if you will, to the program's establishing of itself. Now, you're going to have that critical person that says, well, to me it looks like a series of degression and not progression. You go 9-2 your first year, you go 7-4 your second year, and you could possibly go 6-5 or either 5-6, which is down from the previous 2 years. And so instead of going forward, it might be that we're going backward. But I bring up some key elements. It does take some time to build some dynasties, even though when you talk about building a dynasty, I should have said maybe build a program, a consistent program of not only winning on the field, but in the classrooms. And then with the dynamics, Prairie View is not like your typical HBCU's requirements. They're at a 275 right now. I think they're thinking about increasing that. So it makes it a little bit more rigorous to get certain type of players to do certain type of things that you want to do if you're an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. Spoke with Coach Simmons in detail about that maybe you have to start changing your game schemes and approach on things. So there are things that to be developed and things to be worked out. But meanwhile, there are a lot of moving pieces and parts on the Hill.
Yeah, there really is, Mike. You know, mentioning Coach Simmons in terms of maybe changing the system and everything like that. You know, I'm not opposed to coaches in terms of having to maybe, you know, you see it all the time. You got coaches, they'll try to, you know, make players, you know, fit their system. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But in terms of flipping it, especially when you know that you have talented players or you may have an opportunity to recruit some talented players into your program, you know, maybe they just may not fit your system, but, you know, at least maybe not too drastically, but somehow maybe kind of changing your system a little bit so that it, you know, it kind of caters to the players' talent that you bring in. Any possible way that you can make them effective on and off the field as much as possible.
Well, now, here's the one example, or should I say thing, just here's one alternative they need to strongly, and I do mean strongly. Did I say strongly? Strongly consider. If that is going to be the route that we go in as a university, and I have absolutely no problem with that, then I think we're going to have to open up our primary area of recruiting.
Absolutely.
You're going, there are ball players that will fit your scheme, fit what you're desiring as a student athlete, and can run some schemes effectively that you can design. But you're going to have to be able to reach across the continent, across the nation to get those players. You can get a lot of them from Texas, but there might be a kid in Oklahoma. There might be a kid in Utah even. I'm just calling out states right now. There, you know, you're going to have to go across the gamut to make sure that you put yourself in the best position to be competitive consistently year in and year out.
Yeah, you know, I don't have no problem with that, Mike. You know, and they definitely recruit players, you know, out of the state, you know, mostly in state, then out of state, of course. But what I don't want is for you to overlook players that are in your own backyard. And you already know what I'm talking about when I say that. That is what I don't want to have happen, because you can have talented players that you may have overlooked that's right down the street from you, you know, versus looking elsewhere. So well, I definitely want them to do that either.
Or we're referring to a young man that wears green and white right now for Hempstead Bobcats with the last name of Yale.
Possibly. You may be talking about a player that's wearing that royal blue that you love so much.
By the name of Grace.
With no mercy. With no mercy.
Well, you know what? As a matter of fact, that you brought them up, congratulations to the Glen Buccaneers. They accepted the bowl. They're ranked number 10 in the junior college national ranking, and they're going to be in Arizona to play Snow in the El Toro Bowl December 2nd. So congratulations to them on that. But getting back to that, you're going to have to broaden that spectrum if that's what you're going to do. We're talking X's and O's football, Prairie View victorious over Incarnate Word, Southwestern Athletic Conference over the Southland Conference on the football field, and that's always a good thing to say. But real quickly, Dre, I want to shift a little gear just a little bit. Of course, those that listen to the Open Mic Broadcast Network and our high school coverage We got a couple of high school games that'll be scheduled for Friday night. The Hempstead Bobcats will be in the Woodlands. No, I'm sorry, Madisonville, taking on Woodville. That is a 7:30 kickoff, first round of the playoffs. And then tell us about them old Angry Birds, Andre.
The Angry Birds. They're playing in Waco this weekend, Mike. Lord have mercy. I know where Waco is just from being from Dallas. Waco is about an hour and a half from Dallas, so you can just imagine how far it is from here. But nonetheless, the Rose Hill Christian Eagles, they finished 6-4 on the season this year, 5-4 in district. Had a few rough patches there towards the end of the season with their last couple of games or whatever. But nonetheless, based on how well they played throughout the season, it was enough to grant them a spot in the postseason. And they're going to be playing this Catholic school, Mike. As of right now, the way I've been pronouncing it is Reicher Catholic. Reicher. I wasn't spelling B in school, so I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right.
Say it one more. Spell it one more time, Dre.
Reicher.
Reither.
Right. So the H is silent.
Reither.
So Reither.
Uh-huh.
So
but that's okay. But what's their mascot?
It appears that they're the Cougars.
Okay, so the Cougars and the Eagles. There you go.
Cougars and the Eagles.
There you go.
All these animals. I don't know. So, okay.
So violent. They're just violent.
Now the team that they're playing was 5-0 in their district, and they're 8-2 overall. So, honestly, and I haven't watched them all season long, but they're in the postseason for a reason. So is the Angry Birds. So they'll be playing this Friday, kickoff at 7 p.m. In Waco, Texas.
Okay, and of course you will be able to check out the Angry Birds on Channel 6 on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. That is obn-radio.com. Hempstead will be kicking off at 7:30. They'll be on Channel 5. And be sure to follow the tweets for updates and live information as it goes forward. You can check those guys out. You can even listen by the luxury of your telephone if you're not by a computer or want to save your data off your phone. You simply dial for both games. It'll be 724-444-7444. And for the Angry the Angry Birds, that code would be 134280. So you dial the number, and they'll say enter your code. You enter 134280 £1 for the Angry Birds, which is Rose Hill Christian Eagles. If you want to listen to the Hempstead Bobcats, you dial that same number, 724-444-7444. I know it sounds like a lot of fours, but it's easy to remember. And all you have to do is put in 137952. And you'll be able to listen to that call. And that call will be, of course, by Mr. Alex Goodwin, the voice of the Hempstead Bobcats. Both teams reaching the playoffs for their consecutive years. And, Dre, you've been seeing a lot of exciting ball from that Rose Hill Eagle family.
Yeah, I have. And like I say, wasn't really too pleased with their last two games, but overall, as a unit, I was certainly pleased. And of course, these guys are led by head coach Bruce Lane, and I love talking to Bruce Lane. Any opportunity I do get an opportunity to talk to him. I just love the message that he shares, because when it comes to Bruce Lane, it's more than just X's and O's. It's more than just game plan and execution in terms of game days on Friday nights, but actually developing these guys into young men, both on and off the court. And the things that he teach in football is what they can use and carry with them off the field, just being citizens, in this world that we live in. And his perspective, that goes a long way than just going touchdowns on Friday nights. So I definitely enjoy these guys coached by Bruce Lane. I definitely enjoy Coach Lane as a coach and the message that he shares to his guys each and every week.
Well, football is winding down, but we still got plenty of football left here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Basketball season is right at our fingertips, and you can go to the website obn-radio.com here very, very soon to see our projected game coverage broadcast for the Open Mic family on this season. Dre, I think we've said enough for tonight, man. Panthers have helped complete my night. The Steelers take care of business. You thought we was going to get away without talking about that, but we're 8-2, baby. That's what I'm talking about. 8-2. 8-2. 8-2.
You wouldn't be you if you let it off the hook. So
8-2, Dre.
I said I'm not mad at you, man. I said you wouldn't be you if you let me off the hook with that.
No, I love you, man. I love you like a fat kid love candy. But we're 8-2, baby.
Get any way you can, man.
Any way I can. Think I'm playing? Ask Coach Simmons how you take that win. I wouldn't care if it was Incarnate Word, Word Incarnate, Hip Hop, or Hop Hip. I got the win.
Yes, sir.
You get what I'm saying? And that's what it's all about. And on that note, he is that man, Andre Davis, and I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Thank you all so much. PV, travel safe. And to each and every one of you, have a wonderful, wonderful night. God bless. And we'll see you on the other side.